Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
A movement back from an impact. Spring back. Spring away from an impact. Return to a former condition. A reaction to a crisis or setback or frustration. He is still on the rebound from his wife's death. The act of securing possession of the rebounding basketball after a missed shot. A movement back from an impact. Come back to the originator of an action with an undesired effect. The political movie backlashed on the Democrats. An adverse reaction to some political or social occurrence. There was a backlash of intolerance. A movement back from an impact. Spring back. Spring away from an impact. Spring back, as from a forceful thrust. Draw back, as with fear or pain. Come back to the originator of an action with an undesired effect. The backward jerk of a gun when it is fired. A movement back from an impact. A remote or indirect consequence of some action. His declaration had unforeseen repercussions. Move up and down repeatedly. A light, self-propelled movement upwards or forwards. Rebounding from an impact, or series of impacts. Spring back. Spring away from an impact. The rubber ball bounced. The quality of a substance that is able to rebound. Come back after being refused. The check bounced. Eject from the premises. The ex-boxer's job is to bounce people who want to enter this private club. Hit something so that it bounces. Bounce a ball. Leap suddenly. He bounced to his feet. Refuse to accept and send back. Bounce a check. Form the boundary of, be contiguous to. Bound by contract. A light, self-propelled movement upwards or forwards. Spring back. Spring away from an impact. Covered or wrapped with a bandage. An injury bound in fresh gauze. The greatest possible degree of something. What he did was beyond the bounds of acceptable behavior. Usually followed by to, governed by fate. Bound to happen. Headed or intending to head in a certain direction, often used as a combining form as in college-bound students. Children bound for school. Place limits on, extent or amount or access. Move forward by leaps and bounds. The horse bounded across the meadow. A line determining the limits of an area. The line or plane indicating the limit or extent of something. Bound by an oath. A bound official. Confined by bonds. Bound and gagged hostages. Confined in the bowels. He is bound in the belly. Held with another element, substance or material in chemical or physical union. Secured with a cover or binding, often used as a combining form. Bound volumes. Spring back. Spring away from an impact. These particles do not resile but they unite after they collide. Formally reject or disavow a formerly held belief, usually under pressure. pull out from an agreement, contract, statement, etc. The landlord cannot resile from the lease. Return to the original position or state after being stretched or compressed. The rubber tubes resile. Ring or echo with sound. Spring back. Spring away from an impact. To throw or bend back, from a surface. Be reflected as heat, sound, or light or shock waves. The waves reverberate as far away as the end of the building. Have a long or continuing effect. The discussions with my teacher reverberated throughout my adult life. Treat, process, heat, melt, or refine in a reverberatory furnace. Reverberate or spring back. Spring away from an impact. A glancing rebound. The elasticity of something that can be stretched and returns to its original length. A light, self-propelled movement upwards or forwards. Spring back. Spring away from an impact. A natural flow of groundwater. Develop into a distinctive entity. Move forward by leaps and bounds. The season of growth. The emerging buds were a sure sign of spring. A metal elastic device that returns to its shape or position when pushed or pulled or pressed. The spring was broken. A point at which water issues forth. Develop suddenly. Produce or disclose suddenly or unexpectedly. Spring back. Spring away from an impact. The feat of mustering strength for a renewed effort. He singled to start a rally in the 9th inning. Harass with persistent criticism or carping. A large gathering of people intended to arouse enthusiasm. Call to arms. Of military personnel. Return to a former condition. Gather or bring together. Gather. Sports. An unbroken sequence of several successive strokes. After a short rally, Connors won the point. A marked recovery of strength or spirits during an illness. An automobile race run over public roads. The act of changing location from one place to another. The movement of people from the farms to the cities. A euphemism for defecation. He had a bowel movement. A group of people with a common ideology who try together to achieve certain general goals. He was a charter member of the movement. An optical illusion of motion produced by viewing a rapid succession of still pictures of a moving object. The succession of flashing lights gave an illusion of movement. A natural event that involves a change in the position or location of something. A general tendency to change, as of opinion. A broad movement of the electorate to the right. A change of position that does not entail a change of location. Movement as a sign of life. A series of actions advancing a principle or tending toward a particular end. The movement to end slavery. A major self-contained part of a symphony or sonata. The second movement is slow and melodic. The act of changing the location of something. The movement of cargo onto the vessel. The driving and regulating parts of a mechanism, as of a watch or clock. It was an expensive watch with a diamond movement. The act of changing location from one place to another. Police controlled the motion of the crowd. Show, express or direct through movement. An optical illusion of motion produced by viewing a rapid succession of still pictures of a moving object. The cinema relies on apparent motion. A natural event that involves a change in the position or location of something. A formal proposal for action made to a deliberative assembly for discussion and vote. He made a motion to adjourn. The use of movements, especially of the hands, to communicate familiar or prearranged signals. A change of position that does not entail a change of location. The reflex motion of his eyebrows revealed his surprise. A state of change. They were in a state of steady motion. Bypass. Descent with a parachute. Cause to jump or leap. The trainer jumped the tiger through the hoop. Pass abruptly from one state or topic to another. Jump to a conclusion. Rise in rank or status. Her new novel jumped high on the bestseller list. Run off or leave the rails. A sudden involuntary movement. Go back and forth. Swing back and forth between two states or conditions. Move or jump suddenly, as if in surprise or alarm. A sudden and decisive increase. A jump in attendance. An abrupt transition. Start. A car engine whose battery is dead, by connecting it to another car's battery. Move forward by leaps and bounds. Can you jump over the fence? Jump from an airplane and descend with a parachute. Be highly noticeable. The act of jumping, propelling yourself off the ground. He advanced in a series of jumps. Jump down from an elevated point. The parachutist didn't want to jump. Enter eagerly into. He jumped into the game. Film. An abrupt transition from one scene to another. Increase suddenly and significantly. Prices jumped overnight. Make a sudden physical attack on. The muggers jumped the woman in the fur coat. A light, self-propelled movement upwards or forwards. Cause to jump or leap. Pass abruptly from one state or topic to another. Leap into fame. A sudden and decisive increase. An abrupt transition. A successful leap from college to the major leagues. Move forward by leaps and bounds. The child leapt across the puddle. Jump down from an elevated point. The widow leapt into the funeral pyre. The distance leapt, or to be leapt. A leap of 10 feet. Regain or make up for. Recuperate one's losses. Get over an illness or shock. Regain a former condition after a financial loss. The company managed to recuperate. Restore to good health or strength. Return in thought or speech to something. Belong to an earlier time. Regain a former condition after a financial loss. Get or find back. Recover the use of. Regain or make up for. Get over an illness or shock. Reuse materials from waste products. Regain a former condition after a financial loss. We expect the stocks to recover to $2.90. Cover anew. Recover a chair. The speech act of continuing a conversational exchange. A bodily process occurring due to the effect of some antecedent stimulus or agent. His responses have slowed with age. The manner in which something is greeted. A statement, either spoken or written, that is made to reply to a question or request or criticism or accusation. A phrase recited or sung by the congregation following a versicle by the priest or minister. A result. This situation developed in response to events in Africa. The manner in which an electrical or mechanical device responds to an input signal or a range of input signals. Chemistry. A process in which one or more substances are changed into others. There was a chemical reaction of the lime with the groundwater. A bodily process occurring due to the effect of some antecedent stimulus or agent. A bad reaction to the medicine. An idea evoked by some experience. His reaction to the news was to start planning what to do. A response that reveals a person's feelings or attitude. He was pleased by the audience's reaction to his performance. Doing something in opposition to another way of doing it that you don't like. His style of painting was a reaction against Cubism. Extreme conservatism in political or social matters. The forces of reaction carried the election. Mechanics. The equal and opposite force that is produced when any force is applied to a body. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Move or strike with a noise. His arm was snapped forward. An informal photograph, usually made with a small handheld camera. My snapshots haven't been developed yet. Tender green beans without strings that easily snap into sections. The act of catching an object with the hands. The infielder's snap and throw was a single motion. Separate or cause to separate abruptly. The rope snapped. Cause to make a snapping sound. Snap your fingers. Lose control of one's emotions. When her baby died, she snapped. The tendency of a body to return to its original shape after it has been stretched or compressed. The waistband had lost its snap. Record on photographic film. She snapped a picture of the president. Break suddenly and abruptly, as under tension. The pipe snapped. A fastener used on clothing. Fastens with a snapping sound. Children can manage snaps better than buttons. A crisp round cookie flavored with ginger. Any undertaking that is easy to do. To grasp hastily or eagerly. Make a sharp sound. His fingers snapped. Utter in an angry, sharp, or abrupt tone. The sales clerk snapped a reply at the angry customer. A sudden sharp noise. He can hear the snap of a twig. American football. Putting the ball in play by passing it, between the legs, to a back. The quarterback fumbled the snap. A spell of cold weather. A cold snap in the middle of May. A sudden breaking. Bring the jaws together. He snapped indignantly. Close with a snapping motion. The lock snapped shut. Move with a snapping sound. Bullets snapped past us. Put in play with a snap. Snap a football. The act of snapping the fingers. Movement of a finger from the tip to the base of the thumb on the same hand. He gave his fingers a snap. The noise produced by the rapid movement of a finger from the tip to the base of the thumb on the same hand. Servants appeared at the snap of his fingers. Reach with a blow or hit in a particular spot. Perceive with the senses quickly, suddenly, or momentarily. Ears open to catch every sound. Perceive by hearing. I didn't catch your name. The act of catching an object with the hands. Mays made the catch with his back to the plate. A drawback or difficulty that is not readily evident. It sounds good, but what's the catch? Suffer from the receipt of. She will catch hell for this behavior. See or watch. Take hold of so as to seize or restrain or stop the motion of. Hear, usually without the knowledge of the speakers. Succeed in catching or seizing, especially after a chase. Did you catch the thief? To hook or entangle. Apprehend and reproduce accurately. The quantity that was caught. The catch was only 10 fish. A restraint that checks the motion of something. Attract and fix. Capture as if by hunting, snaring, or trapping. Detect a blunder or misstep. The act of apprehending, especially apprehending a criminal. A person regarded as a good matrimonial prospect. Attract. Cause to be enamored. Catch up with and possibly overtake. Grasp with the mind or develop an understanding of. Did you catch that illusion? A break or check in the voice, usually a sign of strong emotion. A cooperative game in which a ball is passed back and forth. He played catch with his son in the backyard. A fastener that fastens or locks a door or window. Anything that is caught, especially if it is worth catching. He shared his catch with the others. Become aware of. Be struck or affected by. Catch fire. Be the catcher. Who is catching? Cause to become accidentally or suddenly caught, ensnared, or entangled. Check oneself during an action. She managed to catch herself before telling her boss what was on her mind. Contract. Did you catch a cold? Delay or hold up. Prevent from proceeding on schedule or as planned. Discover or come upon accidentally, suddenly, or unexpectedly. Catch somebody doing something or in a certain state. Get or regain something necessary, usually quickly or briefly. Catch one's breath. Reach in time. I have to catch a train at 7 o'clock. Spread or be communicated. The fashion did not catch. Start burning. Take in and retain. We have a big barrel to catch the rainwater. The act of catching an object with the hands. He made a grab for the ball before it landed. Take hold of so as to seize or restrain or stop the motion of. Capture the attention or imagination of. This story will grab you. Get hold of or seize quickly and easily. A mechanical device for gripping an object. Make a grasping or snatching motion with the hand. The passenger grabbed for the oxygen mask. Obtain illegally or unscrupulously. Take or grasp suddenly. She grabbed the child's hand and ran out of the room. A small fragment. Overheard snatches of their conversation. The act of catching an object with the hands. Martin's snatch at the bridle failed and the horse raced away. Law. The unlawful act of capturing and carrying away a person against their will and holding them in false imprisonment. To grasp hastily or eagerly. Before I could stop him, the dog snatched the ham bone. Take away to an undisclosed location against their will and usually in order to extract a ransom. Obscene terms for female genitals. A weightlift in which the barbell is lifted overhead in one rapid motion. To make grasping motions. The cat snatched at the butterflies. Rebounding from an impact, or series of impacts. Marked by lively action. A bouncing gait. Vigorously healthy. A bouncing baby. A shot in billiards in which the cue ball contacts one object ball and then the other. A glancing rebound. Make a carom. Rebound after hitting. The car caromed off several lampposts. An occurrence of rebounding or springing back. The physical property of a material that can return to its original shape or position after deformation that does not exceed its elastic limit. An occurrence of rebounding or springing back. The physical property of a material that can return to its original shape or position after deformation that does not exceed its elastic limit. The act of delivering a blow with the foot. He gave the ball a powerful kick. Express complaints, discontent, displeasure, or unhappiness. She has a lot to kick about. Stop consuming. Kick a habit. Informal terms for objecting. Spring back, as from a forceful thrust. The gun kicked back into my shoulder. The backward jerk of a gun when it is fired. A rhythmic thrusting movement of the legs as in swimming or calisthenics. The kick must be synchronized with the arm movements. The swift release of a store of effective force. He does it for kicks. Drive or propel with the foot. Kick a leg up. Make a goal. He kicked the extra point after touchdown. Strike with the foot. The boy kicked the dog. The sudden stimulation provided by strong drink, or certain drugs. A sidecar is a smooth drink but it has a powerful kick. Thrash about or strike out with the feet. Jump lightly. Bypass. He skipped a row in the text and so the sentence was incomprehensible. A mistake resulting from neglect. Bound off one point after another. Leave suddenly. Skip town. Cause to skip over a surface. Intentionally fail to attend. A gait in which steps and hops alternate.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.